Hello, I'm Phylum. QuakeCon has come to an end, and I'm here in front of a camera again to just say a few words about it. I did some stuff after day one, I said a few things, and yeah, now I'm back to say the rest of the things. So, the 2v2 was great, okay? I really enjoyed it. The grand final was exciting, the semi-finals were exciting. I still haven't watched all the quarterfinals yet. There was a lot of Quake to watch this weekend. I'm still catching up, but because it all happened at like 3 a.m. in the morning my time, right? I watched what I could live. So yeah, I still got some catching up to do, but let's go through the 2v2, then I'll talk about the duel a bit, and then maybe I have a few other things to say. 2v2. Quarterfinals were exciting. Getting to see Liths and Bus Driver X take a map off of Team Liquid was cool. I think that kind of like humanizes Team Liquid a bit, makes them look a bit more approachable. Not to talk shit on Liths and Bus Driver X, they've both played exceptionally well at the tournament, but as far as the top 8 goes, I think they were a weaker team. Matching up against basically anyone else in the top 8, I wouldn't favor them that much. And the fact they can take a map off of Liquid, like the thing I think about what were they called, Play to Improve, Liths and Bus Driver X, I think they had a kind of different approach to lots of the other European teams. They just felt different, and whatever they did was good. Maybe that's one to dig into the analysis on. What was the other quarterfinal game I really enjoyed was Maestro EU, and they played... Oh yeah, Maestro EU versus Blind Trust. I think I actually made the most notes on that game out of any quarterfinal. I'm not exactly sure why, but that had the most like highlight markers, I think, in it of any quarterfinal game, where I'm like, that was a big frag, And it had a couple of cool moments, a couple of fun quad plays. But yeah, things really kicked off for me in the semi-finals. Liquid versus Maestro UKSA was a bit of a letdown, I think. Garpy and Dewey are both really good players, but I think they clearly just had communication issues. Their item control was really lacking. There was one map and it took like... one map it was less than 3 minutes, one map it was less than 2 minutes, and Maestro had just given up full control of the items to Team Liquid, and when you give up full control, right, it was Rafa on that BJ, he was getting the stack, and then once the BJ has that stack advantage, even the enemy BJ can't win the dual wield fight, right? So anytime Rafa pops his dual wield, it was like just a frag. So yeah, Liquid played exceptionally well, right? Their coordination, their communication, their fragging power, it was too much. UKSA didn't have an answer, and I think really their biggest shortcoming was on that communication front. And then we had Blind Trust versus Big, and this was way closer than I expected. Like, Big... What I've actually heard is that Big was a stronger team, Avek and Kilson, over Avek and Cypher. And man, if there was an MVP of these, like, of the final day and of the tournament in general, I honestly would say it was Kilson. He was on fire. Okay, he was hitting better than pretty much anyone else. I was actually a little bit disappointed by Claus's aim throughout the tournament. He was aiming really well, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't like that phenomenal, twitchy, superhuman looking Claws aim that we're used to seeing at this point. It was good, but like on a scale of 1 to Claws, he was like a 9, And then it was into the grand final, and man, the first map, we got that corrupted keep, we got so much good fragging, and just like, watch the first map, because it was the most exciting map of the tournament. Great back and forward, just phenomenal aim, and yeah, everything you could ask for a game of Quake 2v2. But yeah, through the rest of the grand final, you could just see Liquid's communication, really, Like, they move really well together, they set up really well for things together. One thing Liquid do so much better than anyone else, like, they'll engage in a situation, both of them go in, and then once they know they have the situation under control, one of them will leave and go do something else. It's like a selective disengage, right? I don't see anyone else do it anything like where Liquid does it. And I think it wins a lot for Liquid, because it means that they're not like super committed to the situations they're in. They make a commitment to a situation, and as soon as they win it, the other guy goes and pressures an item or takes an item or something. Their item control was really great. They executed really well. It didn't look quite as flashy as DreamHack, but they were on. They were definitely on. Rafa had some great moments with like just BJ play on Rafa, I feel like if you told me that Rafa was going to be a really aimy champion player, I would have thought that maybe wasn't playing to his strengths, but the BJ is so good because Rafa's so good at picking situations to like make aggressive things happen. And I've always thought that about Rafa. So yeah, it was a good grand final. Unfortunately, Blind Trust just didn't quite have what it took to step up to Liquid. And really, this is a wake-up call for Europe. You know, they have to find a way to level up their communication and the way they move as a team. Their coordination, I guess, is the other thing I'm trying to say. Because Liquid are just too good at it, right? Liquid look unbeatably good right now. There is no European team. I couldn't put two players in Europe together and say these guys can definitely step up to Liquid. I don't know. I don't know what shuffling of players. I don't know if Tox and Claws is the right combo, because of course at DreamHack we had Tox and Hron, and then Claws and Silencep, and then at this one we had Tox and Claws, and then Hron and Silencep. Unfortunately, Hron and Silencep didn't do that well compared to what I expected from them. I expected them to be just phenomenally beastie. Because Silencep had been sick. I think he still kind of had the flu or something. So I'm looking forward to next tournament when we get to see Silencep be full Silencep. But yeah, overall, really good tournament. I like how they stepped up the production on the second day too. I liked Machiavelli's little cutaways in between maps. He had really quite meaningful highlights. You know, usually when you get highlights in a Quake thing, it's look, this person clicked their mouse really well. But Machiavelli was no, you know, they went here, they got this item, or they did this, which allowed them to do something else. It was he was just thinking about it more, and he was exactly the right person to do it. And it's the best kind of highlight I've ever seen at a Quake event. So huge props to them for that. And then, yeah, we came into the last day for Duel. Look, the best of ones were a bit of a buzzkill, okay? It was good to get through the early round, I think. You know, it was bam, Rafa, bam, Claws, bam, Dahang, bam, Hron, you know, all these really good players back to back to back. But then when we got to the later series, it was begging to be more. Especially the grand final, right? Claws and Dahang were looking so good. They both did really good stuff. They both played exceptionally well. Claws was in full Claws mode and being that kind of really twitchy, hyper-aggressive play I expected to see more of in the 2v2. And Dahang was having some really good answers to it. But unfortunately, it just, you know, there wasn't enough space in that game for Dahang to really show us what he had, because I think Dahang had more, right? Blood Covenant's a map that suits Claws, especially when he's playing that Nyx, right? That Nyx was deadly. I wasn't expecting Nyx to be so viable in this patch, but then Claws is yeah, he does the double jumps at the right time, you know, he gets that great mobility around Blood Covenant, and he uses the Ghost Walk in an insane way. He flies in and hits 2 rockets and ghost walks, and he's gotten the frag before he ghost walks, but just in case there was a chance he took some damage, he's ghost walked anyway. Explosive damage totally free, and that's something Claws is so good at. And so I'm looking forward to seeing more Nyx in the future, and more Nyx played like that in the future. But yeah, I wish we had more maps. Like I said, it felt like it was kind of tacked in. I feel like originally, you know, someone told them they could only have one Quake tournament, and they fought and got a little Duel thing squeezed in there in the end. But no, it was enjoyable still, right? They were good games. They were phenomenal players, and they were really good games. Everything from the second day on, you've got these top 8 teams. Every player in that lineup is just so world class, phenomenal aim. You know. It always leaves me excited. I feel like it's really late when I'm recording this, so my passion isn't quite up to the usual level, but it was a good event. I'm really tired because I've just been zoning myself out, drowning myself in Quake. But yeah. Okay, so what's my plan for QuakeCon content? Because this is just kind of you know, I'm just saying things that come into my head. There is no script for this video. This is, as I said last time, raw, unfiltered phylum. My plan is to go back and watch some more of these games, you know, finish off the ones I don't have. I do have notes. This is half of my notes. So yeah, I'm going to go back and I'm going to dig into some things. I've got some good ideas about games I can pull apart and look at in some more depth. I have Mix05 lined up. We're going to do a map analysis. He had a lot to say about some of these games. So we're going to sink our teeth into one, do a bit of a discussion piece, and have some back and forward on what we think about some of these teams. And I'm thinking it would be good, there are a lot of good opinions in Australia, you know, just talking to people while we were watching these games. So it might be good to do a bit of a series, right? Get some of Australia's finest Quake minds on the case and have some discussions with them about these matches. See what the Europeans need to do to beat Team Liquid, you know. Can we work it out? That said, the rest of the year is going to be Duel tournaments, I believe. So, maybe it's too little too late. Maybe that's it. Maybe by the time we're done with Duel for this year, it's going to be CTF and Slipgate and whatever. So maybe Team Liquid will just be the eternally reigning 2v2 champion. Alright, so video with Mix05, more in-depth stuff from me. I've been talking to 40 Lions. I'm hoping to cast some North American Quake with him, because he did really well at QuakeCon. I loved the community caster stuff. It was really cool, by the way, seeing community casters, right? I've been commentating since 2014, and when I started, it was just like Zoot and DDK, right? That was it. Jahar popped up at some events, but like one event a year, 2 or 3 commentators. It felt very, very closed off for someone who was starting to commentate. And then this year, yeah, they just blew it open. They were like very inviting to people from the community to get on the microphone and to help them put on a show. I think that's cool. It's cool to see it that open. It's cool to see them interested in just like testing the water for some new stuff. So I'm excited right now. Quake's exciting. So yeah, I guess that's everything. I've been Phylum, and I'll catch you guys next time.